Hi everyone, I want to welcome to episode 6 of the Upfront with Ruth Stewart podcast. Today I wanted to talk about some of the things I notice in our society today that, to me is very obvious. And I was riding down the highway today. I was going about 60, I could have been going 65. And this car drove by me. I know it was going 35 or so miles an hour more than me. And then I don't know about everyone else, but I think it's a common experience for everyone now. I drive in a slow lane. I know I am a little bit older here, but it's hard for me to ride in the second to fast lane with people swerving in and out of me. And it's just I've noticed that things have changed with just driving down the highway. And then at about this morning, about 2 minutes later, this motorcycle flew by me. I know they were going faster than the other guy, and maybe motorcycles drive a little faster. Maybe that's something that's been going on for a while, but cars just flying by like there's no consequences to just sort of just being, I can do anything I want to do. And I think a lot of that has spread from some of the way that we've responded to some of the challenges in our society. A lot of the things with say Freddie Gray occurred. That was probably, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, if on or about that time. And I was actually, my wife was working downtown, and I was going through downtown a lot, and I had been working downtown and just watching TV. I guess there was a situation where the mayor had said that police were supposed to stand down, and there were copies of people, going in and looting a Lexington market and walking out with stuff, and or running out with stuff, and really destroying stores, just looting things, and the police were supposed to stand down. And a lot of stuff. Now that's not good for anybody. I mean, a lot of life is about structure. A lot of life is about knowing what consequences are, and that comes from a family. I'm not Mr. Religious or Mr. this or that, but when we grow up, structure is good for everything. And a lot of the ways that we have responded to some of the other happenings with police, that not all of them were appropriate. The one with the George Floyd guy, that guy should be in prison the rest of his life. That's murder. You know what I'm saying? People need to be held accountable. A lot of the other things, there have been things that happen which aren't appropriate. I don't know if even not appropriate is not the right word, but things need to be looked at closely and be investigated to see exactly what was occurring and exactly what occurred, and people are held accountable. Police officers, but also people who aren't following laws that are enacted to help keep us all safe. And then a lot of things that came out of that was about defunding the police. Now, I think media stations should have felt even awkward about even running ads like that on TV, because there's bad apples in everything, and maybe some even police districts are bad apples, the whole district. But that just needs to be held accountable. But talking about defunding the police, I think there were some cities, maybe Detroit or some other cities, that voted to defund the police. And who does that make sense to? I guess it makes sense to you if you aren't trying to do the right thing. If you need help from the police officers, I saw a video where they were interviewing people in the inner city who actually lived in areas that had a lot of crime, and they're like, no, we don't want the police to be defunded, because we need their help. And even anyone else, wherever we live, you can give the police a hard time until you need them. And that's it. And I wouldn't want to be a police officer. A lot of things going on in our society with the way police officers have been treated, just not appropriate. I mean, thank God for police officers. Once again, there's bad apples, but once again, we need to be responsible and hold each other accountable for our actions. I think a lot of things that have come out of some of the Even the race things that have come out have just been a lot of fear on some people's part. I guess actually, people, Caucasian people, white people, a lot of people in power, a lot of fear have come out of how to respond to that. And also, just I was in Baltimore City a couple of times recently. One of the state's attorney in that city had stopped prosecuting crimes that were not, minor, criminally wise, minor crimes like simple drug possession or prostitution or some crimes sort of like that. And all it did was make things worse. Late, what I was down there with my wife. She had gotten her hair done, and it was in the evening, and we had, these, I guess the three-wheelers had gone by. There's probably about 6 or 7 of them. We were at a stoplight, and then the light turned green, and we started to move, and then one woman came, and one of these three-wheelers, and like stopped us from moving, like blocked us, and put her hands up, and then about 15, 20, maybe even 25 of these little scooters flew by the intersection. I mean, I don't know where those people are operating from, but that's not good for anybody. I mean, it's some like waywardness. People just feel like they can do anything they want to do. And Baltimore had a hard problem with these people, these squeegee kids. Now, people say they had something like that entrepreneurial spirit to be out there and make money. Okay. But, you are really stuck and vulnerable, especially at a busy stoplight. You have cars behind you, cars in back of you, cars beside you. I've had people in the past, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they would come over to your car. You just go like this. They would be respectful and then there was this, or sometimes they would just start doing your window. I'd be like, look, stop. I don't want you to do my window. And even before, they would maybe stop. But somehow with a lot of stuff that's been going on in our society, I guess people have gotten emboldened to be like, no, they're not, or some kind of disrespect, and that being somehow supported, and then getting emboldened in people. Then it got to a place, and people were like cussing me out, calling me all these white names and all this disrespect, racial stuff. I know there's problems going on in our society. There have been for a long time, there still are. But the way we respond to those problems affect how we as a country run. It also affects how those problems, and what happens with those problems working out. And the way we have responded as a country hasn't been well. It's been emboldening people to act ways that aren't good for anybody, that doesn't provide structure, and also it's been making problems worse. And there was I was driving down there a little while ago, and these guys were like drunk. They almost stumbled into my car. I was going about 10 miles, 5 miles an hour. I was coming to a stoplight. They were telling me how they were going to kill me and everything. And then there were some problems in the news and stuff. And finally, they're not doing that anymore because the city legislature decided to pay them not to squeegee, which doesn't make sense to me. So I'll keep coming back. I'll keep leaving podcasts. I really appreciate you listening to me, and I really appreciate me being a part of this conversation so we all can work together. Thank you.